Going sunny, ain't no hay left on the ground.
All right, here's my secret weapon.
Going sunny.
The new Massey Ferguson WR9970. Out here cutting up some alfalfa. Second cutting. I've yet to show this little tool. Let me whip it around here. Slicker than slick, man. Turns on a dime. And probably the nicest comfort feature I have in this thing is the new auto steer. I've never had auto steer. So yeah, definitely makes cutting a treat. Yeah, anyway, cutting right now, just kind of walking through it, 12 and a half, or 12, I should say, cutting right now at 12 miles an hour, at 2,000 engine RPMs, and the pressure on the header is at 2,000, and we're at an 8 on the pitch. So we're cutting it pretty low, making a really nice clean cut. Yeah, anyway, this machine, I debated on having one of these for the last 3 years. I've been cutting with a 313 New Holland Momax pull type, 3-point hitch on that with a 4640. My transport time from field to field was about 16 and a half, 17 miles an hour for speed, I should say, in that time. It would take me about an hour and a half to get from my farm to my furthest field away, so that was not cutting it. I mean, you had 3 hours right there in travel time alone. Where this machine goes 25 miles an hour down the road. It's 24 and a half, let's be honest. But anyway, yeah, it's just a night and day game changer. I would cut at about 8.5 miles an hour in the field with the 313 New Holland Momax. With this thing, I've done as much as 16 miles an hour, and I find 12 is just a good speed. It does a good job conditioning the hay. Super smooth. Not only is the cab air ride, but it's got independent suspension on the machine itself. Super, really nice ride in this machine. I've got to whip it around here one more time. Kind of see the swaths back there. Very pretty out. Nice evening to be cutting some hay, that's for sure. Get to the end, you just click the button. Turns on a dime. Oof, there we go. Click it back down. Hit your auto button. And away you go. Got lined up and just send her off to the races. But yeah, no, this is definitely a game changer. The really cool part is with this hay, I'm getting dry down times, especially with weather like this, 80 degrees, nice breeze, no humidity. We'll be haying in less than 56 hours. We'll be making this into hay, baling it up, I should say. So what I've noticed the first go around is we had some really perfect weather. I mean, the dew points were in the upper 30s, low 40s, 76, 78 degrees, little 5 to 15 mile an hour breeze. We had hay bone dry in 36 hours. I actually was trying to find time to rake it so I wouldn't lose the leaves. So that really was like a testimonial right off the bat how nice this thing did for conditioning and drying down your hay. You're keeping a lot of leaf retention. It's got a double conditioners in it, so there's 4 rollers actually. So it's being double conditioned as it goes through the machine. It lays a nice wide windrow. I have it laid, that's the actuator right there, that little black thing. And there's a flap right there that will depict how wide my row is. I have it set as wide as it goes right now. So the flatter and wider it lays, the quicker it dries, the more even the drying is, and the nicer the windrow will be raked up and baled. So yeah, this machine's a game changer. I want to point something out to you here in this field. Look at all these grasshoppers. Now this isn't my field. This is a field I do for a neighbor of mine. It's some custom work. But man, we should have had his guy out here looking at these fields, getting them sprayed. But we'll cut them out, and we'll get back to spraying them here after we get this cut and see what the weather does. The nice thing is with this machine is turning around on a dime and doing the headlands. I mean, I do 3 headlands now. I know it's an odd number. You're saying, why do you do 3 headlands? Well, the reason I do 3 headlands is because a lot of the time with the rake, you're always turning around on one, or you know, so why turn around on two? So I'll do the headlands last, of course, when I'm raking, but when I get done going back and forth, then I'll just do my one pass, and then I'll always clean up the random straggler stuff with that third windrow, that odd windrow. I'll make a second pass and just kind of clip the ends of the rows so it makes it nice and clean. But yeah, I couldn't talk enough about this machine as far as how efficient it is, how it runs. Just really glad I made this investment. I'm doing just shy of 700 acres of hay ground. There's about 500 acres of it being alfalfa, and the other 200 being grass. The grass might get cut 2 times on a good year. We're looking at 2 cuttings this year, cut early, cut often. So we'll have another cutting of grass hopefully by early September. And the alfalfa this year, even though we had a late start, by the calendar date we should have a 4th cutting early September as well. So we're on our 2nd cutting right now, and it's July 11th. I'm kind of behind the schedule a little bit, but hopefully we'll get it all put up in due time. Every 25 days, 28 days, 30 days, depending on weather, I guess. There goes my neighbor in his yard now with his Momax. He just got done cutting for the day. Everybody's knocking hay down around here. 'Tis the season. A little more difficult to set it up when you're holding a camera. But as far as inside goes and the comfort features, this is your pitch, so I can pitch that all the way down by hitting this button here, and that'll make it cut. That's scalping the earth at 10. Right here is your RPMs. You know, the faster you want to run your header, obviously, the more aggressive that's going to be on your fuel and your diff and just everything. Where 2000 and a nice, you know, it's very kind of an older stand, a thin cut alfalfa like this. That's plenty of speed. So you can adjust that. Your PSI for your header here. I don't know why we're bouncing all over the road with that. That's like my float. So I like to usually have them both at 950. I guess this one kind of slid back on me. You can move my hand too. There we go. So that's going to be how much down pressure is on your header. So when you kind of hit a bump or something and you're going fast, that'll keep your header pushed down. And then yeah, so then here's your header RPMs right there. It's 2000. Your pressure on your conditioner, so how tight your conditioners stay together. So if a big wad of hay runs through, it'll open up for you. That's pretty handy there. That's all from the cab. And so that's that stuff. Over here is, like I said, your engine RPMs, your ground speed. This screen is just for your GPS. Again, I wouldn't be able to make this video right now if it wasn't for GPS. My hands are free. You just kind of can watch everything and be observant of the field more or less. And it kind of takes the cutting out of a day. I'll be honest, with that 4640 and that 313, you know, cutting 13 feet at a time, and that's if you're dead on paying attention, you know. Sometimes you aren't cutting a full pass, where you are more aggressive with that now with the GPS in this machine. But you know, when it came to cutting, with that 4640 and the 313, you would knock down 160 acres in a day, and it felt like an eternity. I mean, it just took forever. I was averaging about 10 acres an hour, and that was, you know, I wouldn't say pushing it, but that was doing it comfortably so you wouldn't feel completely just exhausted and drained and sore and annoyed at the end of the day from bouncing around that old tractor. And if you had to travel, right? I mean, that took time out of your day too. Where this thing, traveling from field to field, it's like driving just putzing down the road in a car. This has rear, in this feature here in the gear range, it has rear wheel assist. So I can put that in, and that'll actually, what that does is it'll lock in your back tires so it cruises down the road and steers with the back end, so you're not wiggly with the front end, I should say. So that's really convenient. So it's not really, you're not all over the road, you're just straight and steady. But yeah, no, cutting with that 4640 and that 313 compared to this, night and day. That's all I gotta say. It's not even comparable. This thing just floats to the field. I'm doing right now, if you can see that little number down there, it's 22.1 acres an hour So it's instant, like your instant fuel economy. I'm doing 22.1 acres an hour at this speed. So, like I said, you can knock down a lot of hay at, say, 20 acres an hour for using an easy number in a day. You know, you put in a 10-hour day at 20 acres, I mean, shit, there's almost just shy of half my alfalfa crop down in a day. Problem there then is making sure you get it put up in time, right? You got all the raking to do and baling to do. And I run a 560M John Deere round baler, and I run a Massey inline small square baler. So at the end of the day, depending on what shape of bale you're making, you can knock down more hay than what you can actually put up correctly. It's very cool. Very grateful for this. Finally making the decision to, invest in this machine. It was one of those things where, it's got a big price tag on it, but got a family at home now. I got other things I want to be doing at 30 years old instead of just sitting enslaved to the tractor of cutting hay. And by the time you get done cutting that 4640, putting everything down, you got to get back in the other tractors to rake it up and bale it up. It just, summers became very time consuming in the hay fields, which I don't mind. I do love what I do. I'm not complaining at all. I just knew that there had to be a more efficient way, and if you're drying down your hay better and faster and keeping your leaf retention and your quality is up, that pays for itself there too. So all these things add up to be a lot of pros.